The narrow dirt streets of Villa Fiorito, a working-class neighborhood on the outskirts of Buenos Aires, were alive with the sounds of everyday hustle, vendors shouting their wares, the hum of buses, children laughing as they chased a scuffed ball across uneven pavement. In the middle of it all was a small boy with a mop of dark hair and eyes that gleamed with mischief and hunger, Diego Armando Maradona. His family, like many in the barrio, lived with constant financial strain. Meals were simple, sometimes sparse, yet Diego's energy never dimmed. From the moment he could walk he seemed magnetically drawn to a ball, any ball, even if it was nothing more than bundled rags. He spent hours dribbling through alleys so tight you'd think a ball couldn't pass, mastering balance and control without even realizing he was training himself for greatness. Neighbors began to pause in their routines to watch. There was something different about the way Diego moved. His feet didn't just kick, they danced, teasing the ball as if it were alive. Older kids twice his size tried to take the ball from him, but he slipped through them like water. His tiny frame and low center of gravity gave him an almost supernatural agility. At 8, he caught the eye of a local coach who invited him to join Los Cibalitas, the junior team of Argentinos juniors. That invitation changed everything. Los Cibalitas quickly became a sensation because of Diego's wizardry. He dribbled past defenders with dizzying spins, dished out passes that bent through impossible angles, and scored goals that left crowds roaring. Even at this tender age, his creativity separated him from the rest. Scouts and journalists began to whisper about a prodigy who could transform a match with a single touch. When he performed at halftime for the Argentinos juniors' first-team games, juggling the ball without letting it drop, fans flooded the stands early just to witness the show. At 15, still barely a teenager, Maradona made his professional debut for Argentinos juniors. The sight of this small boy controlling the game against grown men was astonishing. His first goals displayed more than skill, they carried an artistic flair, a sense that he saw possibilities invisible to everyone else. He wasn't merely playing football, he was reimagining it. In a country where football is a religion, Diego became the new prophet, carrying the dreams of his neighborhood and soon, an entire nation. Part 2. By the early 1980s, the prodigy from Villa Fiorito had become Argentina's brightest star, and Europe's biggest clubs clamored for his signature. FC Barcelona won the race, paying a record fee to bring the young magician to Spain. At the Camp Nou, Maradona's arrival was greeted with frenzy. His debut season displayed flashes of pure brilliance, slaloming runs that shredded defenses, feathery passes that carved open back lines. Yet injuries and illness plagued him, and clashes with management and brutal defending tempered his impact. Even so, when he danced through Real Madrid's defense at the Bernabeu and drew applause from rival fans, it was clear, Diego was no ordinary player. The turning point came when Napoli, a club from Italy's poorer southern region, took a daring gamble and signed him in 1984. Neapolitans, often looked down upon by wealthier northern cities, embraced Diego as one of their own. He became more than a footballer, he was a symbol of pride and defiance. Naples erupted with hope, and Diego delivered. With him orchestrating attacks, Napoli transformed from a mid-table team into a powerhouse. His creativity was relentless, backheel passes nobody anticipated, lightning-quick turns that left defenders stumbling, and free kicks that curved like art in the air. In 1987, Napoli won their first ever Serie A title, and the city celebrated for days. Murals of Maradona appeared on walls, children copied his moves in alleyways. He had united a city and humbled the northern elite. But his greatest performance awaited on the world stage. The 1986 FIFA World Cup in Mexico became Diego Maradona's masterpiece. Wearing Argentina's number 10, he carried an ordinary squad to extraordinary heights. Against England in the quarter-finals, he scored two of the most famous goals in history. First came the cunning hand of God, a quick flick of his fist disguised as a header, audacious, controversial, unforgettable. Minutes later he produced the goal of the century, starting from his own half, dodging 5 English players in a breathtaking 60-yard run before sliding the ball past the keeper. Commentators were left speechless, the world was spellbound. Argentina went on to lift the trophy, and Maradona's legend became immortal. Part 3. After 1986, Maradona's life remained a dramatic blend of triumph and turmoil. He led Napoli to another league title and a UEFA Cup, gifting the club its golden era. Yet the pressures of fame and relentless attention took a toll. He faced relentless fouling on the pitch and invasive scrutiny off it. Injuries mounted, and personal battles with addiction and the law often made headlines. Despite these struggles, when Diego stepped onto the field, the magic returned. He could still control the ball as if tied to his foot, still see passes no one else imagined, still make defenders look like bewildered spectators. Fans never forgot the joy he gave them. In Naples, he was more than a champion, he was family. In Argentina, he remained a national treasure. Children in dusty neighborhoods across the world wore his number 10 and practiced his feints, dreaming they might one day move like him. Maradona's creativity wasn't a learned skill, it was instinct, a natural poetry expressed through a football. He showed that the sport could be art, that a single player's imagination could transform a game into a spectacle of wonder. Even as his playing career waned, every appearance drew adoration. When he finally retired, stadiums chanted his name in thunderous unison. And when he passed away in 2020, the world mourned as if a piece of its soul had gone. Yet his spirit lives on whenever a young player attempts the audacious, a nutmeg through a defender's legs, a daring dribble in a crowded midfield, a no-look pass that defies geometry. Diego Armando Maradona remains, for many, the greatest of all time, not just because of trophies or statistics, but because he embodied football's heart. He turned the game into theater, into music, into poetry that needs no translation. From the dusty streets of Villa Fiorito to the grandest stadiums on earth, he proved that the beautiful game's only true limit is the imagination of those who play it.